Ever since this hashtag Meatloaf Wars has started, I've had a monkey on my back. Why? I got something none of you have thought of. I got the winning deal right here. Come on in. It's the Paige family homestead.
We interrupt this regularly scheduled program for a little service announcement. This is a Rebel Canning session. It's not approved by the USDA, FDA, LMNOPA, but it's been done successfully for generations. Why? Because it works.
Hey, yeah, this is for hashtag Meatloaf Wars. I'm bringing it. I know, don't go away. You'll think, oh, it's a canning session. Yeah, it is. And we're making meatloaf and we're canning it. When I was working full-time and our nephew was living with us and Andy, of course, was living with us, of course, I'd come home and they're all, hungry. They worked a full day and I did, and I don't want to cook. I'd open up a jar of meatloaf. And then on the other side of the pantry, I'd open up a jar of potatoes. And on the other side of the pantry, I'd open up a jar of veggies. Heat it all up, make a gravy. I got the winner. So let's do this. My hands are clean, clean, clean. So I'm not putting gloves on. This is for our consumption. I'm not selling it, and my hands are clean. So Andy got me 5 pounds of burger. I asked for lean. He got me regular. I often do this with lean. It'll still be okay. And then I threw in 2 separate pounds, bringing it to 7. I have 7 jars. Now these are not quarts and they're not pints. They are 1.5 pint jars, wide mouth. That way we can just run the jar under some hot water, plunk it out. Meatloaf. So, first off, let's get this meat broke up a little bit. I'm going to have to scrub all my spices since I did this first. But that's okay. I had to scrub them up the other day from Android too. So here I'm adding in, you put whatever you want in. No fillers, okay? It is a Rebel. Some Rebel canners will put fillers in. I choose not to because it does swell and I don't need problems in my jars. So I opt to not. So I got some paprika. There's no measuring. Somebody said, no measuring at the Paige home. When you cook a long time, you kind of just eyeball it. This is garlic powder, not salt. Then I've got some parsley flakes. Oh, and just a little, since you're working with seasoning and spices and canning and stuff, never ever, no matter what, don't use sage. Sage, all spices, all seasonings, magnify when pressure canned. So everything I've got in here is going to be really intense. If you put sage, it sours, it bitters, or it overwhelms, it ruins your whole meal. So don't use sage. Take it from me. I've done it. I heard it and I thought, meh. Yeah, what a waste. Okay, I'm sorry. That was thyme I just threw in there. And some onion powder. Again, not salt. And Andy loves this stuff. It's by Cool Running. It's Cajun style steak spice. I will use egg. It's getting cooked. I got the powder everywhere on this pot. 1, 2, and 3. You could go high as 4. 3's fine. It'll do the trick. Is that everything? All in, all in. So we're just going to mix this up. Now, because this is a Rebel canning session, I'm not going to teach how to. I'm going to show you what I do. There's a difference. If you're a new canner, I suggest not starting with a Rebel canning session. Get to know your canner, get to know your methods, get to know your safety precautions. I've already got, this is cold pack and raw pack. I've got my canner filled with the required amount of water for my American Standard. I've already jiggered my vinegar in, my white vinegar. We have very hard water. Even with a water softener, it's just deadly. If you don't put the vinegar in your jars, you'll just have to wipe your jars down with vinegar after, because they're going to be cloudy and gross looking. I don't want to do that. So I put it in the water. And I throw hamburger around, apparently. This beautiful cloth, I'm so sick of wasting my tea towels to do my canning on. So I use an old ugly tablecloth now for my canning sessions and save myself a lot of laundry. You'll see it on the table whenever we can now. Okay, so I don't want to touch the jar with a dirty hand. I'll be right back. So if you follow along on our channel, you may have heard me say, what was it? Debubble, debubble, debubble. Can't debubble hamburger. You also may have heard me say if you over mix your hamburger, you can make it tough. So I've mixed it lightly. I'm not making a tough meatloaf. I have over mixed before, and it was very dense and heavy, and I could tell the difference. So bingo. So what we want to do is try, I just dirtied my hands again, try to get it in there with as little air as possible. We're going to have to squeeze the air out of this meat and pack it in. But I don't want it so dense that the heat can't penetrate. So you'll see what I do for that. We do want a healthy 1-inch head space. You're going to get personal with your jar, okay? So, move this out of the way. We want to pack it. You can see there's little air pockets in there. We want to work it all the way down. That's why I said you're going to get personal with your jar. That's okay. It's virtually impossible to get every little bit out, but we'll do the best we can. And what we do to top it will make a difference. You'll see. If you've got little tiny hands, that helps, because these are deep jars. And like I said, we want at least a healthy inch of head space. There is going to be fat in the jar. It's unsightly. You're going to think, oh God, I don't want to eat that when it's done. Don't worry about it. The oil, the grease rather, pours off when you heat your jar in the tap to plunk out it's all gone, right? I usually will pour the juices off and make a gravy using that. Or a base, use it as part of the base, because it's got all that seasoning, all that beautiful flavoring. And I forgot something. Now, if Andy was here, he'd say, barbecue sauce. This is my canning session. This is my entry. I'm going to use my favorite. I usually make my own, and I will be in upcoming videos. All the ingredients are coming into season. Here we go. I'm using HP sauce. So, I want to make sure that I can get down there. I'm not hitting the bottom. Just making a nice hole. And I'm just going to put a little bit there in the top. It'll all sink in through. It'll be beautiful. There's one jar. We'll do one more. Maybe I can get it packed in a little better before I fill it I need smaller hands. Angie, you're a little pygmy. You need to come over here and help me pack these jars. I'm going to hear it about that. You all have to go to that hashtag Meatloaf Wars and check out the playlist and check out all the channels and all their entries. There's so many different versions of this classic. Of course, nobody's got mine. Nobody's canned it. I got an air bubble down there I don't want in there at the very bottom. There we go. A tablespoon helps. I can't keep this stuff on the jar long, so it's never long-term storage. Always short-term. It's such a fantastic bottle to open up when you're hungry and you're tired and you just don't want to cook. And for meatloaf sandwiches. Yep, we go there. I know this is one of my nephew Rob's favorites that we canned with our meat. We got a lot of meat canning coming up. It's going to be really bad this year, guys. The prices of meat. I've got a friend who used to raise pigs for, I won't say who, because I don't want to. Anyway, they were contracted. They still get email from these people, and they were told about the price of pork and what it's going up to. And if it does in fact reach that, I can't afford to buy it. And that's pork. Beef's going to do the same. So start now, guys. It's going to get brutal, and we want to be making sure that we've been prepared. I can't tell my loved ones and family members and friends, I can't tell them enough to get ready. Do what little you can. Every little bit helps. If you're not into canning, dehydrate. If you're not into either, make sure you get lots of flour and salt and all your basics. They're going to be hard to get. They're going to be very hard to get, guys. I filled the hole and just left a little puddle like on the top. I'm going to fill the rest of the jars and we'll be back. I might just do it. Put it on fast forward. That way you know I'm not picking my nose. So let's see, 7 pounds. I got 7 jars. I got 8 lids because these wide mouth lids, I don't know about you guys. I've been having some issues with them coming right from the box, and they're warped, or I don't know. I'm saving them up. I'm going to send them back. I paid for those. I want to use them. I don't want to send them a letter and go, oh, one of your lids was no good. When I get a full box of no good lids, I'll take care of that. I know in the States it's getting really hard for you guys to find your jars and what have you. We haven't come across that yet in southeastern Ontario. I think BC is starting to feel it. I know it's coming. So I stock up. Every time we go into a store, Andy will bring me home a couple boxes of wide and regular mouth. So I'm like, why don't you just bring it all home for the week? But I guess he feels he doesn't feel the pinch so much doing it little bit by little bit. As soon as I notice that there's starting to be a shortage, man, I'm going to haul in and get them. I won't take them all. I won't be mean, but I've got to take care of my family too. You know? There's just a little bit much in there. There we go. I do want that healthy 1 inch, if not a little bit more, for obvious reasons, right? And I know I haven't wiped any of the jars down yet. There's no sense in dirty in, so I'll do them all when they're done. And I know we're talking. That way I can speed it up. got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3/4 jars. Now this 3/4 jar, it'll be used first. It'll still seal. It's just, I prefer it to be up to here. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3/4 out of 7 pounds. That's a lot of meat in these jars. So let me go wash my hands and we'll do the next step. Okay, it's very important for obvious reasons. Vinegar, paper towel, or clean cloth. We really want this rim clean, guys. We saw the meat going in. Make sure that rim is clean. I'm not looking for the inside of the jar to be cleaned or the outside. I want that rim cleaned. I've got my lids in. My lids I've got inside this little dish, but I put them in upside down, upside right, upside down. It helps to stop them from sticking together. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Oh ho ho, almost did a naughty thing. I've seen me pull jars out of the canner to redo. I've seen it. Get it nice and wiped down. These are going to be so good. I know, especially in the winter. I mean, if we're out shoveling and digging our way out or anything, it's going to happen. We're going to get more snow here than we did back home. I may not feel like cooking a dinner, but we might be really hungry. So I told you how easy it is. Like, it's seriously the best. Really is. You'll enjoy it. Because we're pressure canning, it's not necessary to sterilize your jars or your lids. In fact, the lids, you're not supposed to boil them anymore. The new lids, you just need to keep, I just put them in like tap water or kettle water and just let them soak for about 10 minutes to make the gummy a little more flexible for adhering and making a seal. They're not like the old lids, let me tell you. I wish we could get those back. They skimp on everything these days, don't they? Everything. This is saturated in vinegar. And I'm really happy they weren't that bad. Okay, I'm going to get these over to the canner. Cold jars, cold meat, cold water in the canner. My honey spot with my canner is number 8. I've already oiled my contacts because I don't have a gasket with the American Standard. It's metal on metal. I've already put my vinegar in. My trivet is on the bottom. I'm going to load them up and I'll bring you back. Okay, so I've got my 6-quart or pint and a half jars in. There's space in the middle. I always keep a jar of water that I can pressure can to keep in my pantry, because once it's processed, that jar is sterile water. I used all mine after I had my surgery. So, for cleaning my wound, right? So I need to replenish. So I don't mind filling that, using that lid for that. I'm going to look at my notch here. I'm going to look at my arrow and line that up. Make sure my little locks are in place. Up these go. I've already checked. I can see through the spigot and see light, so I know that that's not blocked. Everything is ready. So, honey spot is number 8. This is going to heat up until I get 10 minutes of steady stream of steam. At that point, I will put my 10-pound weight on, which is my weight requirement for our elevation. When I do all that, I will bring you back. It is a 90-minute canning session, guys, because we're timing it for quarts because they're bigger than pints. So we'll bring you back. Okay, so I've got my steady stream of steam right here. So 10 minutes goes up on my timer and walk away. Okay, so the buzzer's gonna go off in about 20 seconds. I don't put the weight on until that buzzer goes, guys. Now, once that buzzer goes, I will be setting my timer for 90 minutes. This is a long session, but it's meat, and we want that temperature and that time to kill all the bad enzymes in the meat, because we do not want to make our family sick. Don't skip steps. Rebel or not, do not skip steps. 10-pound weight for my elevation. When I come back, it will have reached 10 pounds pressure and my weight will jiggle and spit. And that's when I set my time. And that was the buzzer. So now, I turn off the heat. The heat's off. I'm not touching anything. I'm not moving anything. Now I'm going to head outside and help Andy. He's cementing fence posts, so I'll go see what he's doing. This has to come down to a complete 0, and I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to be outside. We'll take a look when we come back in. Okay, so, like I said, it's not a teaching video. I said what I was going to do. So if you're a seasoned canner, you're okay with the process. So everything's down to 0 and it's sat for a while.
Ooh, look at that. Nummy, 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 tummy, tummy, tummy.
Oh, baby.
Let's see that.
That's just the
water. That's a rip.
That's sterile water. Now listen, guys, this was a 90-minute session. If you're making single servings in a pint, actually a pint's good for 2 if you have, like, you're eating other foods. It's only a 75-minute session, but use your wide mouth pints.
Oh, look at that.
Look at it, still
Isn't that
going.
nice?
And it's been sitting there for
Beautiful.
a long time.
Still bubbling.
Yeah.
Nice. There's a meaty loaf. It's a meaty loaf. Oh, look at that. Still bubbling.
Never tip your jars. Beautiful. We have, I believe, 6 meals here, guys.
Oh, yeah, easy.
So, how do you like that meatloaf? Smells beautiful here. Oh, bring it over this way, sweetie.
Oh, that looks nice.
Here's the one we have to open first because it was shy, right? I didn't have enough.
It does look so shy to me.
Okay, so if you liked the video, please remember to subscribe if you haven't. Leave us a comment below. And am I not winning or what? Ring the bell.
Ding, 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 ding.
And we'll catch you tomorrow.
See you later.